And we are live. Welcome back to Takes by Fans. We got a great show for you today. As always, we're live every single day at noon Eastern. If you want to watch live, head over to twitch.tv/Takes by Fans. If you want to watch but not live, head over to our YouTube channel, Takes by Fans. We post all of our shows and clips of the show there on a daily basis. And if you just want to listen, we are on podcasting apps, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio. So, however you want to watch or listen, we've got you covered in multiple ways. Alrighty, folks, today's a big old Sunday, but welcome to the month of mother love in August, baby. Woof, woof. We got preseason football this month. We got preseason football in like 5 days, folks. August 5th. The Hall of Fame game. Steelers. Cowboys? Is that who it is? I believe that's who it is. Steelers Cowboys. Going to be absolutely fantastic. We got Hard Knocks premiering this month. Absolutely fantastic. Cannot wait to get to watch the inside the locker room and inside the training camp of the Dallas Cowboys. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. So we got those things this month, but today on the show, we got to continue on with our kind of NFL team refresher. We got to do part 2 of the Raiders, and then we'll see if we have a time in the show to kind of start another team, or we just see what they did last season, see what their new additions were in this offseason, what they did in the draft, and what are they just looking like overall with their roster, and then we'll walk through their schedule to see how many wins we can give them for what they are going to do this year. So we got to finish up the Raiders at part 2 on that. So let's just jump right into it with the stories of the day, and the first one up, we get to hear from Jared Goff. Haven't really heard from him at all. He got shipped out of the Rams to Detroit. Really, I mean, you go from playing with Sean McVay to Dan Campbell. If you weren't already a good quarterback, a great quarterback, you're going to take a little bit of a ding, a little bit of a hit. And Jared Goff already had a couple of dings and dings and scratches on his can as well. So this isn't the perfect or even a good scenario for Jared Goff, but let's see what this Lions team is trying to accomplish. We've heard from Dan Campbell, and that's really it. We haven't really heard from anybody else in this Lions team, so let's see what we get here. Jared Goff says the Lions' goal is to be, quote, extremely competitive this year and win a championship. It can happen fast. Yeah, it could happen, but I don't think that's what the Lions should be kind of focusing on year one under Dan Campbell. You really should just kind of be focused on winning one game. We got 17 games this season, and you don't want to be the first team year one to go 0-17. That would be a little embarrassing. I mean, at least the Lions, when they first went 0-16, they waited a little bit in the 16-game schedule. Like, when did they go 0-16? Like 2014, I want to guess. Let's see what we get here. Here we go. Lions overall record. What do we got there? 0-16 season, 2008. So, I mean, they waited till basically the end of the 16-game era to go 0-16. You don't want to, start the 17-game era going 0-17. You just don't want to do that. So, Lions not looking great out here, but Jared Goff's a little optimistic, so we give him a little credit for that. Alrighty, do we get a full quote here? Here we go. Not a full quote. Okay. So here we go. Joining Blow in the celebration was Jared Goff. They were talking about the celebration of his girlfriend winning the Olympics or something like that. So joining Blows in the celebration was Jared Goff, who's experienced a whirlwind of his own in recent years. 4 years ago, he was starting for the Rams team coming off a 4-win season and helped lead his club to the playoffs with then first-year coach Sean McVay. An offseason trade to Detroit aligns him with first-year head coach Dan Campbell with the two tasks to turn around the 5-11 Lions. I mean, if you want to turn around a franchise, I'm sorry, Dan Campbell's not the head coach, and I don't think Jared Goff is the quarterback. I give more faith into Jared Goff than I do Dan Campbell, but we'll see how it all comes together. But they're being optimistic, and this is going to be a real tough team to turn around with those two. I don't want to call them clowns. One's a clown. That might be a little too harsh, but Dan Campbell's a little bit of a clown up there. I don't want to disrespect him, but I'm sorry. Jared Goff, we'll see if he's clownish this year. That isn't daunting to Goff, who said, quote, "It can happen that fast. And that's our goal, is to be extremely competitive this year and win a championship." So, I mean, I would just focus on not going last in the division. I mean, you've got the Vikings, you've got the Packers, you've got the Bears. It's like, I can't see y'all even beating any of those teams, let alone winning a game this year. So I know they've got big aspirations, and you go into every season thinking, hey, it's Super Bowl. We can win the Super Bowl. We can win the Super Bowl. Our team is good enough to win the Super Bowl. But, I mean, when you've got a head coach in Dan Campbell, I think you just got to temper expectations. And I don't love, going through the rebuilding process and, taking steps. All right, let's win 4 games this year. Let's build on it next year and win like 6 or 7 or 8 games. And then year 3, we make our playoff push. I hate that line of thinking. I really don't think any team should ever really be using that. I really think you should have the mindset of, yeah, we're going to win the Super Bowl every single season. But this Lions team, I can't get behind that line of thinking. It's got to be a very, very slow, small rebuild. We've seen this Lions team try to rebuild forever, folks. I mean, let's go back to their 0-16 season. You can't get any worse than 0-16. So there's only up from there. There's no going, -1 in 16 or 15, however you would even calculate that. I don't even know. So 0-16 is the worst you can do. What have the Lions done since 0-16? Because they've been at the bottom of the bottom, and they've always had kind of this thought of, all right, let's start rebuilding. Let's rebuild and see what we can do. So let's take a little journey on what this Lions team was doing ever since the worst season in NFL history, the 0-16 year. Alrighty, so they go 0-16 in 2008 to 2009. They go 2-14. A nice small step. That's what the Lions should be expecting this season, like a 2-15. Maybe we'll even give them a third win because of the kind of 17-game schedule. We'll give them the 3 wins and 14 losses. But this is kind of the small step you expect them to kind of go with. Then in 2010, they go 6-10. Very, very good building block. And then 2011, they go 10-6. Now, and they made it to the playoffs. They lost the wild card game. Unfortunate. But this is kind of what we should be expecting from this Lions team. A 3-year rebuild that at year 3, you make a wild card and have a chance to win it. This is what Dan Campbell's tenure is probably going to be looking like here. And this happens all the time, folks. So they made the wild card game, but then it was time for another rebuild because they were trashed the very next year. 2012, 4-12. 2013, 7-9. And then 2014, 11-5. So another kind of 3-year kind of starting from the bottom, working your way up, and now you're in the playoffs. 2014 11-5 season, going to the wild card game and losing in the wild card game. Classic Lions. Do they start the rebuild process over again? Kind of a little bit. They go 7-9 the following year, 2015. Then they go 9-7. They make a wild card game again, lose it again, and now they're back to 9-7 2017, 6-10 2018, 3-12-1 2019, and then 5-11 last season. So they have truly hit bottom of the rock bottom. They haven't been able to kind of, hit rock bottom, slowly build their way up, make the playoffs, go to back to rock bottom, slowly build their way up, make the playoffs. They haven't been able to do that over the last 4 seasons. So they bring in Dan Campbell to try to do once again the 3-year kind of turnaround. Very, very trash, either going 2-14, 4-12, or 7-9. The 7-9 season was pretty solid. I don't see Dan Campbell immediately jumping to that 7-9 season. But you just slowly build on a couple of wins here. So I know it's kind of in the mind that they think they can win the Super Bowl, but yeah, they won't. They can't. I will say the Lions cannot win the Super Bowl. They physically cannot win the Super Bowl. I don't think I've ever said that about an NFL team, but yeah, the Lions are the only team that will not win a Super Bowl. The Jets could win the Super Bowl this season. It's a possibility. It's very slim, but I give them more credit than what this Lions team with Dan Campbell can do. So, I don't want to knock these people's ambitions, but Lions players, y'all should be thinking about winning one game. Just take it game by game. That's how y'all really should look at it. Yeah, maybe we win the Super Bowl, but let's just take it game by game. Game 1, we win. Then we're looking on to game 2, and maybe we can start thinking, well, maybe we can go undefeated. But go to game 2 and then win game 2, and you're like, all right, maybe we can go to the Super Bowl, but we have to win game 3 first. So maybe just take it game by game. You lose game 1, then you're like, all right, let's try to get the win. Let's try to get one win this season. Something like that. So, Jared Goff, big optimism, and I love it, but I don't think that's what this Lions team needs overall. I think you need slow, small goals around Dan Campbell. But we'll see. We'll see if they shock us. It would be a big shock if they did. Alrighty, let's talk about this big old signing yesterday. Well, kind of big extension. So here we go. Browns running back Nick Chubb agrees to a 3-year, $36.6 million contract extension. We know it's truly deserved. Nick Chubb, an absolute fantastic runner. We have him in kind of our top 5 running backs in the league currently. We don't really put Christian McCaffrey and Alvin Kamara in that just because they're kind of dual threat-ish who, get a lot of yards on the receiving game as well. Besides Christian McCaffrey, I mean, he rushes and catches for 1,000, so that man's absolutely fantastic. But, Nick Chubb just kind of a pure runner, and he's absolutely fantastic. Let's quickly bring up his stats really quickly, and then I kind of want to check out what his overall contract. Hopefully they tell us what his overall contract is in that article. I don't know what else they would be talking about in that article, so that's why we're going to kind of read through it, because I want to see where he's kind of getting paid compared to all these other running backs, because I do believe Ezekiel Elliott's the number 1 paid running back. We'll get that list up too, and I think Derrick Henry is number 2, but he's a little disrespected. He's only getting I believe $60 million, which is a little low in my opinion, because Zeke's getting 90, and I know Derrick Henry's a hell of a better runner than Ezekiel Elliott. Derrick Henry's the best rusher in the league, so he should be getting paid $100 million in all honesty, but we'll see where he falls. But let's bring up Nick Chubb's stats first, because he's fantastic. He rushed for 1,000 yards last season. That's exactly what we love to see. 1,000 yards, I mean, he's basically been a 1,000-yard rusher every single year. He's going into his 4th season this year. Rookie year, he rushed for 996 yards on 5.2 yards a run. I mean, absolutely fantastic. Year 2, 1,400 yards, basically 1,500, 6 yards away from 1,500 yards on 5 yards a carry. And then just last season, 1,067 yards on 5.6 yards a carry with 12 rushing touchdowns. And you gotta mother love and love that, folks. Now, he doesn't really kind of get big receiving yards. His best receiving season was 278 in 2019 for a grand total of 1,700 yards. Just really an absolute fantastic performance. And now kind of, since he's kind of decently splitting carries with Kareem Hunt, because he's kind of the lightning to Nick Chubb's thunder here. I mean, so his yards and production will go down a little bit, but I mean, he's still garnered 12 touchdowns, so you got to give this man credit. So Nick Chubb truly, absolutely deserved the money here. Let's bring up the highest paid running backs quickly. In the NFL 2021, alrighty, let's see if we can bring this up. Alright, here we go. Highest paid running backs in 2021. Please load, please. That's not going to load. How unfortunate. And now, oh my goodness, folks. This is so frustrating. I truly apologize. I don't know what's going on with my internet lately. It's been super, super annoying. Usually doesn't happen early in the show. Like, it goes like an hour into the show and then it wants to act up. So, it's starting to act up now. Let's see if we'll have to come back to this because we got other stuff to talk about, and let's see if we can try to get right back online soon. Damn it, folks. It's so frustrating. I apologize. Truly apologies. All right, let's keep going here since we have some other stuff up. We'll get back to Nick Chubb and his stuff. But let's talk about this. So we know that Carson Wentz went down. Unfortunate. Another injury, and we're very, very ready to sell this Colts team 100%. Truly unfortunate. Our Super Bowl pick this season, and Carson Wentz goes down in training camp like day 2. How unfortunate. But maybe a little bit of a silver lining, maybe a little bit of a green flag is starting to emerge a little bit, tiny bit. We won't buy into it if it does, but we'll kind of, decently track it through the season. But here we go. This is Josina Anderson tweeting. Here we go. Verified. I think she works for ESPN, something like that. But here we go. Source to me on Colts quarterback Jacob Eason, who we explored yesterday on the show. And if it was between Jacob Eason and Sam Ehlinger, we're taking Jacob Eason all day because he was truly impressing us a lot in his kind of college days. He was a rookie last year, got no play time, and now he's kind of a year under his belt, but we have no film on him in the NFL. But what he did in college was truly impressive. Way better than what we saw from Sam Ehlinger, who's a rookie this year in the league. So we do like Jacob Eason, and it seems like that's kind of who the Colts are going to rely on, but we get this kind of anecdote from Jacob Eason, and it's fantastic. So here we go. Josina Anderson, source to me on Colts quarterback Jacob Eason says, quote, he hasn't had any NFL reps, but he knows what he's doing. He's been here. We have a great team around him. He seems comfortable with the wide receivers he's throwing to. I hope everything works out with number 2, Carson Wentz, but if number 9 is the guy, we'll be fine too. So that's really great positive news here for this Colts team that just had absolutely devastating kind of season ending, take the wind out of your sails news with Carson Wentz foot injury. But the fact that Jacob Eason is kind of garnering the support and the attention from the Colts, just the players, we don't know who the source is, whether it's a player or a coach, whatever it is, but they seem kind of big on Jacob Eason. And that was kind of, our thinking yesterday on the show that Jacob Eason learned under Phillip Rivers for a year. We don't love Phillip Rivers, but you got to give him the credit. I mean, he's a great longevity quarterback in this league. He's been around the block a couple of times. So, you can take some real great information and learn under Phillip Rivers for an entire year. And this team is set up for success. I mean, folks, we've been saying it for 2 seasons. This Colts team is a plug-and-play quarterback away from winning right now. They have the line, they have the receivers, they have the running back, they have the defense, they have the coaching staff. They really have all the pieces. I mean, they don't have A1, tier 1 pieces everywhere, but overall as a team, they may be the most complete team that there is in the league, folks. So, I mean, if there's any kind of, magic here of Jacob Eason's game, all he has to do is be a game managing quarterback. That's all he has to do, and the team will take care of it. So if Jacob Eason learned a little from Phillip Rivers, he learned just a little bit of just being in the league for a year, maybe this man can come out and show out and be decent enough for the defense to take over, for the running game to take over, for Jacob Eason just to deliver the ball to the playmakers, and they may be able to kind of win a couple of close games early on in the season. Maybe Carson Wentz comes back and takes over a complete kind of 180 of what kind of Carson Wentz's career has been. Starts real great and then has to have somebody take over late in the season for him. Maybe he starts great early and then maybe Jacob Eason starts great early and then Carson Wentz takes over for him. So that could be, a huge possibility here. And as long as Jacob Eason is just being a solid game managing quarterback out here, I mean, if they're 50-50 by the time Carson Wentz, a 50-50 record, 500 record, by the time Carson Wentz comes back, maybe he can take over and lead this team to the promised land of a Super Bowl that, we're kind of expecting this Colts team to have. So, it sucks that Carson Wentz went down, but if his own teammates and kind of own organization are going to get behind Jacob Eason, maybe we can too. Obviously, we'll have to kind of take it slowly but surely because we have no NFL tape on this man. That is our only kind of knock on Jacob Eason. We love the long ball, the deep ball. We love the deep ball accuracy. We love all of that. We just haven't seen it in the NFL, so we can't get big and can't get behind it, and we can't bet it week 1. But it's something that we can look into, and, training camp just started, so maybe he'll have even a full training camp with the ones under his belt, making it way easier for him to kind of get acclimated week 1, and he'll have 3 preseason games as well. Jacob Eason, welcome to the NFL. Go get your spot, bruh, and go win the starting job here. Something that you didn't really think you would have in your kind of early career here. Under Phillip Rivers, you're not going to beat him out for the starting job. Under Carson Wentz, you're not going to beat him out for the starting job, but this is kind of the moment that could come. He gets injured. I'm up. I'm next man up. Let me go out and take care of business. So, Jacob Eason, folks, watch out for this man. Can't wait to see what this man does in training camp, but his team is kind of behind him already. So we'll give him some credit here. Alrighty, our internet is back and we got connectivity and we can kind of talk about Nick Chubb again. Thank goodness, folks. Truly, thank goodness. Thank goodness to Spectrum for not just being absolute shit and allows us to kind of get back on here. Fantastic. All right, so let's we have to take our ad blocker off to get this article. How unfortunate. So here we go. Top paid running backs this year. Here we go. We got Christian McCaffrey, number 1. He's getting $16 million. Alvin Kamara is at number 2 with $15 million, and that makes sense. They are dual threat running backs. They have great catching history. Christian McCaffrey's been over 1,000 yards receiving in his career. Alvin Kamara hasn't hit that mark, but he's very, very close up there, 700-800. He may even have a 900-yard season receiving. Don't quote me on that. Should we look that up? Let's look that up because I know he's very, very close to that 1,000 season where I know Christian McCaffrey has hit that. Let's get Alvin Kamara's career stats up very, very quickly here. Here we go. Alrighty, he's caught for only a 826-yard season. He's been a 900-yard rusher and a 756-yard receiving. His highest yards from scrimmage was last season at 1,600 total overall with 900 rushing, 700 receiving. So Alvin Kamara, dual threat. You gotta give him credit. All right, but pure running backs. Then we get Ezekiel Elliott at $15 million. Then we get Dalvin Cook at $12.6 million. And Derrick Henry at $12.5 million. Very, very underpaid here, Derrick Henry is, because he's getting 2,000 yards just on the ground. I mean, Christian McCaffrey's getting 2,000 through the ground in the air. Alvin Kamara can't even get 2,000 through both. But Derrick Henry on the ground by himself is getting 2,000 yards. And he's the 5th highest paid running back? What? I don't like that. I don't respect that. So don't like that. Christian McCaffrey, okay, 16 million. Okay. So Derrick Henry's the 5th highest paid. And now with Nick Chubb getting his deal, it seems like now he's the 6th highest paid running back. So that's fantastic. He wasn't even in the top 10 because he was on that rookie deal. Now he's getting the big bucks on this 3-year, $36 million contract extension. So that's fantastic. He's paid right below Derrick Henry, where I think is probably the best fit for him. I think, was it behind Derrick Henry or were they paid the same? They may have been paid the same now. They're both getting... No, okay, Derrick Henry is getting $12.5 this year, $12.5 million, and Nick Chubb is getting $12.2 million this year. So Derrick Henry, I think, deserves a little bit more money than Nick Chubb, and I think this is exactly where the price point should be. Ezekiel Elliott is truly the outlier here, getting paid $15 million, the same as Alvin Kamara. I cannot believe that. All right, but let's go into this article really quickly and just see what this kind of new contract extension is all about for the great running back of Nick Mother-loving Chubb here for the Browns. Here we go. Over the past 2 seasons, Cleveland Brown running back Nick Chubb has emerged as one of the NFL's top running backs. Now he's emerged as one of the league's top paid running backs. Chubb and the Browns have an agreement in principle on a 3-year, $36 million contract extension. The deal comes with $20 million fully guaranteed. Oh my goodness, man, oh man. When they talk about contracts like this and talking about guaranteed money and you hear $20 million guaranteed, oh my God. You're instantly $20 million richer, folks. $20 million. Could you imagine just waking up and having $20 million in your bank account? Be like, God damn, like, I made it. I have made it. Jeez. Congratulations, truly. At an average of $12.2 million per season in those 3 years, Chubb would be the 6th highest paid running back. We just read you the top 5. We got Christian McCaffrey, number 1. Ezekiel Elliott, Alvin Kamara tied for number 2. That makes Dalvin Cook number 4 at 12.6, and Derrick Henry 5th at 12.5, and Nick Chubb at 6 at 12.2. Then we get Joe Mixon at 7 with Aaron Jones at 12 even. Melvin Gordon severely overpaid here at $8 million a season. I cannot believe that. He's number 9. We get Saquon Barkley, 10th highest paid at $7.7 million. Austin Eckler at $6.1 million. Kareem Hunt at $6 million. Fantastic. Najee Harris getting that rookie deal of $3.3 million. Truly underpaid already. How unfortunate is that? Philip Lindsay is getting $3.25 million as well. Severely underpaid. Unfortunate. He has not gotten his next extension now that he is with the... Who is he with now? No longer a Bronco. He's now with... Who's it? The Cardinals? Texans. He's with the Texans now. So hopefully he can get his big payday here, going into his 4th season, like Nick Chubb is going into his 4th season. All right, the 25-year-old Chubb, who could have another extension in store when he's 28. Man, oh man, the man's going to be making bank. Keep it up, young fella. Is entering his 4th NFL season after back-to-back campaigns in which he rushed for more than 1,000 yards. Alrighty, so basically we've got all the information that we needed to. We basically found all that information before we even clicked on the article. Congratulations. But yeah, Nick Chubb truly deserved out here. I would definitely say, we definitely put him in the top 5 running backs. We don't have Christian McCaffrey to Alvin Kamara in the running back category just because they are kind of dual threat running backs. We're just talking about pure runner, solid catching ability. I mean, we're not kind of excluding if you catch for, 200, 300 yards, but I mean, these running backs, Derrick Henry, Nick Chubb, they're not catching 500, 600, 700 yards out of the backfield like Alvin Kamara, like Christian McCaffrey. And Ezekiel Elliott is definitely overpaid. He's not even in the top 5 of just pure runners. I don't even put Ezekiel Elliott in the top 5 of pure running backs. I got Derrick Henry, I got Nick Chubb, I got Dalvin Cook, I got Aaron Jones, and I got Saquon Barkley. That's kind of my top 5 right there. And then if I'm looking for number 6, I'll put in, Ezekiel Elliott. I'll put in maybe even Austin Eckler at number 6, but once again, he's kind of a dual threat as well. Solid catcher out of the backfield. I put Kenyon Drake in the top 10. I'm putting Najee Harris already in the top 10. I put Phillip Lindsay in the top 10. Yeah, truly underpaid some of these running backs are, but very, very well done for Nick Chubb getting that deal, securing that money, and let's see what Thunder and Lightning can do behind Baker Mayfield this season. Let's see if the Browns can kick it into another gear because the jump from last season was absolutely fantastic. Let's see if they build off of that. They have all the pieces kind of coming back. They have the head coach, they got the quarterback, and they got the dual threat running game between 2 running backs of Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. So well done, well deserved on the contract extension, my man. Alrighty, let's keep talking about running backs here, and man, we love it. We just saw Najee Harris in action kind of 2 days ago on the show, and we were loving everything about it. And then we get this, Najee Harris taking on all comers as rookie running back looks to establish himself early. Now, I went into this article earlier, and it just kind of tells us a lot about kind of what's been going on here in training camp over the first couple of days, which is great. And we are going to get to some of these ones, but they don't tell us anything about, I don't believe, the Steelers here, which is who we're trying to look for because we want to hear about what's going on with Najee Harris. So that was kind of the clickbait headline to get us into this article, and they don't even talk about him in this article. So let me just quickly double check here, making sure I'm not missing any Steelers talk here about Najee Harris. We do have some insight here on the Saints, which I want to talk about because they have the quarterback competition. We do hear about the Broncos and Teddy Bridgewater. Oh, here we go. All right, here we go. Let's talk about, all right, here we go. Now we're talking about the Steelers. Okay. Found it. All right. Just a triple check. That's why you got to triple check everything, folks. I went over this twice and couldn't find it. Look over it the third time, and it appears. You love to see it. So let's see what they're saying about Najee Harris and how he's doing here early in training camp. Here we go. From fans chanting his name to veterans familiarizing themselves with his game, Pittsburgh Steelers rookie Najee Harris is already making his presence felt. Ooh, I love it. I mean, folks, when we watch, it was only one play that we saw from him in training camp, but it was like run up the middle. He got like 6, 7, maybe even 10 yards out of the run, and then he gets met by a big block of defenders, and he drags them for about a 3-4 yard extra gain after that. So we absolutely love that from Najee Harris. We know he's kind of, a bigger runner out there. He's very, very solid at catching the ball as well. He should be absolutely fantastic here this season. All right, NFL Network's Aditi Kinkabwala, truly butchered that, I apologize, provided some insight into the promising running back's laser focus on executing to the best of his ability. Says, quote, he said it's his job to create better situations. He said it's his job to make sure he breaks the first tackle. He said it's his job to create something out of nothing when there is nothing there, Kinka Habwala said on Inside the Training Camp. And, quote, unfortunately, because the Steelers have not yet been able to put together the offensive line that they're projecting to start for even one snap through 10 days, Harris had indeed had to create something out of nothing, but he is unbowed by all of this. So this is really interesting. This is another narrative that we are kind of keeping track of on the Steelers team. How is their offensive line holding up? Let me get up to the exact team here. Here we got. We said offensive line question mark because, we know they have a whole lot of newcomers in that offensive line. We just need them to get it together. And so far, according to that man, they haven't been able to kind of find the right lineup yet. And Najee Harris is still trying to get it done. And Najee Harris is still decently being productive out there when the line is just not up to snuff yet. So that is still concerning to hear that the line isn't up to snuff just quite yet. We're about a week into training camp. Today's Sunday. Training camp for them started last week, so they, were able to get kind of, their foot in the door, and they do have their kind of first preseason game coming up this week, I believe this Thursday. So it's going to be interesting to see, is their line ready to go game one for training camp? Or is it still just kind of, geez Louise, we still have not figured it out, and now we may need to bring in even more pieces to shore up the line. So it's great that we're hearing from Najee Harris, but I hate that this offensive line is still kind of trash. All right, let's hear what else we get here from the Steelers. King Kabwala kept the anecdotes rolling, detailing an interesting encounter between Harris and the veteran Cameron Hayward, saying, quote, "Every day before practice, he goes to head coach Mike Tomlin, and he says, I want you to match me up against a bigger guy. Quote, whether it's backs on backers, whether it's an 11 on 11 drill, he said, I just want a bigger body. Today, it was against Cam Hayward, the defensive captain. Hayward missed on the tackle. He told us he was a bit peeved by that, and Harris shrugged his shoulders and said, quote, that's football. Not a bad day in the office for a guy who told reporters he's actually below his target body fat goal. So Najee Harris wanting all the smoke, wanting to get better, wanting to go against the best of what his team provides so he can go against and try to do his best against what the best in the league is and who his opponents is on a weekly basis. So we are loving everything we're hearing from Najee Harris. We have no kind of question marks on this man. We know he's going to be great. He's number one on our running backs big board. We are big time on Najee Harris. We think he's going to be right below Derrick Henry in just how we rank overall running backs at the end of this season. So we're loving everything from Najee Harris, but everything else of the Steelers team is still a little, the line. Okay, we would like it to be a little bit better. So Najee Harris is looking absolutely fantastic out here. Absolutely love it. All right, let's talk about some other kind of training camp stories here now that we have these write-ups up. I want to talk about the Saints because we just read yesterday on the show that yesterday was Jameis Winston's first practice with the ones. Taysom Hill had the first 2 days with the ones, and now we get Jameis Winston. So let's see and read the Saints section here and see what this Saints team is just looking like overall. How are they doing in training camp? We haven't really seen anything out of the Saints training camp, so that's a little concerning. We've been seeing from the Cowboys. We've been seeing from even the Jaguars with Tim Tebow. Tim Tebow's making it on our timeline. How crazy. But we haven't heard anything from the Saints. So let's see what's going on with Saints training camp now that Jameis Winston is the starter. And let's see if we can get a little insight on how this quarterback competition is going. So here we go. For the first time in training camp, Jameis Winston took first-team reps with the Saints as the battle for QB1 plays out with Taysom Hill. NFL Network's Jim Trotter reports. However, there's no hurry for head coach Sean Payton and company to determine a starter, saying, quote, at this point, there's no major concern within the organization about how that position is going to play out. Over the last 2 years, when Drew Brees, their future Hall of Fame quarterback who retired this offseason, was down with the injury, the Saints went 8-1. Sean Payton and the staff have done a tremendous job in terms of fitting in the offense to the skill set of the quarterback. They will continue to do that. Trotter added that the competition will continue through camp and the preseason until Payton makes his decision. Payton seemed displeased with star wideout Michael Thomas not undergoing surgery sooner on his bulky ankle, an injury that will sideline him for the first start of the season. And, we did read that. Sean Payton just kind of keeping it real simple, saying, I'm not going to get into it, but it should have happened a little sooner. That was really all he said on it. So we've already talked about that. We got anything else new here? Winston offered a different point of view, asserting that he and others are not upset with Thomas, saying, quote, we're encouraging our teammates here. That's what we do. We got his back. I got his back 100%, Thomas. Indefinite absence will surely compromise New Orleans' passing game, and we've already done the New Orleans Saints in our season refresher, and we have them going 6-11. We just can't buy into this team, unfortunately. Missing the first kind of 6-7 weeks, coming back after the bye, and then, still kind of being behind the 8 ball just in terms of rhythm and athleticism and conditioning for what it takes to be in an NFL game week in, week out. Michael Thomas, he's not going to have that experience come week 7, week 8 after the bye, and and, he's going to be a little off for maybe that week, maybe even 2 weeks. So now we're talking about, the first 8 games of the season. Michael Thomas is not going to be, hunky-dory A1, tier 1 wide receiver. So not great. All right, what else do we get here? All righty. It's a blow for Winston, who's embroiled in the aforementioned competition with Hill, but Winston sounded more hurt for his teammate than himself, saying, quote, "I was devastated. He's one of the best receivers in the game. The thing about Mike Thomas, he's working his tail off to get back with us. It's not like we have a guy that's not going to be working. This guy is one of the most dominant receivers over the past 5 years. This guy has a tremendous work ethic. This guy wants to be here. So I guarantee you Mike Thomas is working his tail off right now to get back with us." So that's all we get for the updates there. Nothing that I really wanted to read. I mean, that's just all kind of nonsense that we've already known about, so unfortunate there. But let's see if we get anything else on this Broncos team, since we could talk about this Broncos. And once again, they have a kind of quarterback competition going on. So let's see if we get any insight on what is going on with that quarterback battle. We do have another kind of topic to talk about with Drew Lock in a second, but let's see if we get anything here in this article still. So here we go. Observers at Broncos training camp are split on whether Drew Lock or Teddy Bridgewater is leading the quarterback derby, but there's not yet a front runner among the team's decision makers. NFL Network's James Palmer reported the Broncos are hoping one of the two will separate himself in the coming weeks, but might use the entire preseason before making that decision. Once again, we've already known that they are going to really just kind of go down to the wire with these two quarterbacks because Drew Lock's been here for 2 years. Teddy Bridgewater was solid last season in the stats department, not in the win or scoring department. So we're going to see which quarterback truly emerges here as training camp and as preseason progresses. All right, one of the determining factors is which quarterback makes fewer mistakes. Now, that's interesting because we're going to hear from Drew Lock in a second, and he's been not making any mistakes here early in training camp. So one of the determining factors is which quarterback makes fewer mistakes. Given Denver's strong defense and supporting cast on offense, a game manager is seen as an attractive option. That would seem to favor Bridgewater, although he threw 3 consecutive interceptions during a team period Saturday. Oh my goodness, that's not great because we've got news. Let's just talk about it now. Is this the next one up? When are we? Okay, here we go. Let's see. Let me bring it up. We got it real deep on the list. Man, oh man, here it is, the second to last. Why did I bring it all the way back there? But Drew Lock, for the 4th day in the row, Drew Lock had 0 interceptions. Zero. Fantastic, because Drew Lock was kind of slinging the ball around in the regular season last season, throwing a couple of picks there. Now we get Teddy Bridgewater going through a period where he threw 3 consecutive, and Drew Lock has thrown none. That's going to be interesting here. Maybe Teddy Bridgewater is truly sinking here in this open quarterback competition where we truly thought he would be swimming and diving and flipping and dipping in that water. But it seems to go the other way, unfortunately. Alrighty, quote, "This decision is nowhere close to being made," Palmer said. "Every rep is going to count, but I'm told the games will count the most." So can't wait till preseason games start to kind of, go off. And we got 3 of them this season, so we'll keep an eye on how these quarterbacks are looking in game scenarios in these preseason games. Alrighty, so training camp is off to a hot start. Najee Harris looking good. Offensive line not so hot for the Steelers. We're still big question marks on that Saints quarterback competition, and so far Drew Lock not throwing any picks. Maybe a slight front runner here. It may start as the starter of preseason game number 1, and we'll see how Teddy Bridgewater kind of challenges him, because I want to see. Y'all know we want to see Teddy Bridgewater get it done. But hey, if Drew Lock steps up to the plate, I've got no problem rooting for him. It's just the last season was truly not great by that man. All right, let's keep going here. Next story up. We got to talk about the Saints now. They just signed running back Devontae Freeman to a 1-year deal. Real kind of interesting there. Let's go to the Saints kind of depth chart. We obviously know they have Alvin Kamara, and that's going to be their main man back there, running and catching. But they do also have Latavius Murray as their number 2. And I love Latavius Murray, folks. I think this man is absolutely solid. Never really got a true chance to be the starter anywhere, unfortunately. Let's bring up Latavius Murray's stats really quickly. So it's really kind of interesting that they would go out and get another kind of third running back because Devonta Freeman is real solid. I mean, he's a solid number 2, especially when you have an elite established running back 1 in Alvin Kamara already. So Latavius Murray out here going into his we got 7 seasons, going into his 8th season, ran for 1,000 yards in his 2nd season with Oakland. And that was always just a real solid runner out here. 2016, 788 yards. 2017, 800 yards. The last 2 seasons, 600 yards plus. That's fantastic. He's, a solid receiving. Obviously, he's not, he's in the, category that, most running backs are, which is just, a solid 1 to 2, maybe 300-yard receiving season. And so it just always very, very solid. Very, very close to 1,000 yards every single season with the rush and the pass, which is, what we want to see from you. So, I just don't understand why they would go and get another running back out here unless they're just truly about to have a run-heavy offense because they don't believe in the quarterbacks that much, especially with Michael Thomas out. So we could be seeing a very, very run heavy Saints team coming up because you got Latavius Murray, obviously Alvin Kamara is, top 5 running backs in the league just because of that dual threat ability. It's fantastic. He's a great runner as well. Then you get Latavius Murray, who's another very solid runner, an absolute great number 2. But then you bring in Devonta Freeman as your number 3. Devonta Freeman, call him that new nickname now. Let's get Devonta Freeman stats up. Obviously ex-Cardinals running back. I believe he just played for the Giants last year, trying to kind of reestablish himself as a starter once Saquon Barkley went down. And unfortunately, he didn't take the most advantage. He only started 4 games and only played in 5 games for 172 yards. But Devonta Freeman has proven to be a 1,000-yard back. 2015, 2016, back-to-back 1,000-yard rushing seasons with 11 touchdowns for the Atlanta Falcons. So we can, we know if you've ever been a 1,000-yard rusher, you can pretty much get back to that. And, this is a very, very solid number 3 rusher back here. Unfortunately, he missed the 2018 season only playing 2 games, and he missed the last season only playing 4 games. But, hey, he's still a little young out here, and now if he's only has to be the 3rd running back here on this team, he can absolutely get it done. He also is a really solid receiver out here as well. In 2015, while rushing for 1,000, he caught 578 yards receiving as well. 2016, when he rushed for 1,000 yards, he also caught for 462 yards receiving. And then his last year in Atlanta, rushed for 656 yards and also caught for 410 yards. So this man is very, very solid as another kind of dual threat running back in this league, and especially in the Saints team that has the dual threat running back of Alvin Kamara. This man can shine even bright as well. So expect the Saints team to go heavy in the running game, heavy in just kind of the short dump off, the dinks to the running backs, the checkdowns, whatever you want to call them, the wheels, the screens, whatever it is. Expect this Saints team to utilize their running backs very, very heavy because they got 3 real solid running backs out here. And, we saw what the Ravens did with 3 running backs last season. Just rotate them all in, all healthy, all fresh throughout the entire game. We got the Colts with 3 great running backs this season. We'll see what they do with them. So maybe Jameis Winston and Taysom Hill just aren't really impressing Sean Payton where they really need to be to kind of make up for, Drew Brees not being there. So it kind of seems like Jameis Winston and Taysom Hill aren't up to Drew Brees' level, which we know is an extremely high level to reach, but maybe they're not even that close, and they want to just have a running back game that can truly be heavily relied upon if the passing game is not getting it done. So real interesting here. They already had a real solid number 2 running back in Latavius Murray, and they actively go out and get Devonta Freeman on a 1-year deal. We'll see how that plays out. All right, What else do we get here? Next story up, still talking about the Saints. This one's interesting. Here we go. Another potential free agent pickup for the Saints team. They just had Prince Amukamara, cornerback, come in for a visit yesterday, so they could be signing him to a cornerback position today. This could be a good addition for the third cornerback on the Saints. Now, let's look at the Saints depth chart at their cornerbacks. They got Marshawn Lattimore and Patrick Robinson. What was Patrick Robinson looking like last season? What did he do? 2 interceptions, 4 pass defenses. Alrighty. Just solid there for number 2. Marshawn Lattimore. Let's see what he was doing. 2 interceptions and 11 pass defenses as well. So once again, nothing that truly great out there in terms of interceptions. Let's see what he was looking like. We got Prince Amukamara up here. He did not play in 2020, unfortunate. So he does have a year missed under his belt. He is only 32, and once again, you only have to kind of come in and be a kind of third stringer out there, another kind of rotational piece. So let's see. We love this website, playerprofile.com. Does Prince Amukamara got the goods? Can he shut down the A1 Tier 1 wide receivers? We don't need him to because, like we said, he's a kind of third option out here. So we're truly just looking at kind of the Tier 2 wide receivers. Is he able to shut them down? Because that could definitely help out the Saints team in just the depth of what they need at the cornerback position. And then we'll see what their starter was doing. Marshawn Lattimore, was he shutting down the A1 Tier 1s? Because if he is, then we can kind of, give Prince Amukamara just kind of even more of a little bit of a pass there of truly not locking up the ones if Marshawn Lattimore can already do that. So we have to go back to 2019 for Prince Amukamara because, like we said, he did not play in 2020. He was with the Bears. So here we go. Against Devontae Adams in 2019, 2 of 5 for 42 yards allowed, 1 pass breakup. Not terrible over there. Solid. Against Terry McLaurin, 3 of 6 for 33 yards and a pick. Solid out there. Against Stephon Diggs, 2 of 3 for 22 yards. Pretty lock up there. Michael Thomas, 4 of 6 for 80 yards. A little bit of a burn there. Against Mike Williams, 1 of 3 for 5 yards. That's a lock up. Against Alshon Jeffrey, 3 of 5 for 17 yards and a pass defense. That's a real solid lockup. Against Kenny Galladay, 4 of 10 for 46 yards. That's a real solid lockup right there as well. Against Kenny Galladay, number 2, 5 of 9 for 132 yards and a pass defense. Kind of got burned the second time around. Against Darius Slayton, 5 of 8 for 68 yards allowed and 2 pass breakups. Against Devontae Adams, game number 2, 2 of 3 for 18 yards. Another solid lockup there. So Prince Amukamara still kind of proves he's got the goods. Obviously, we haven't seen him last year, so that's definitely going to hinder him a little bit. But yeah, as a third option, I think this man can still get it done. So Saints fans shoring up their offensive game a little bit, and we'll see if they go out and make that addition of Prince Amukamara. Let's quickly research him. Let's see if this deal officially got done. See if we can bring him up quickly. Still nothing on a signing. They did everything's just kind of him being brought in for a workout. So they haven't pulled the trigger just quite yet. Real interesting. But we'll see. Yeah, we will see. All right. If the visit goes well, they could sign him. But they are still kind of in the process of that visit and trying to maybe potentially sign him. But let's also, I want to kind of look up Marshawn Lattimore really quickly. He is the Saints' number 1 corner. So let's see what kind of he's doing. Compare that to what Prince Amukamara has been doing. So here we go. What Marshawn Lattimore was doing at the cornerback position last season. Was he locking up the A1 Tier 1s? Let's see. Against Mike Evans, 0 of 3. There, fantastic. 0 of 3, 0 yards allowed, 1 pass breakup. That's a lockdown, shutdown. Yes, sir. Against Marquez Valdes-Scantling, 2 of 2 for 53 yards. Jeez Louise. It's a little bit of a burn there. You allowed every target and more than 10 yards a catch. That's a little bit of a burn there. Against Allen Robinson, 7 of 12 for 83 yards and a pick. Solid work there. Against Mike Evans, game 2, 3 of 6 for 29 yards and a pass breakup. Locking up Mike Evans. Fantastic both times. Against Brandon Ayuk, 4 of 5 for 30 yards. That's a pretty solid lock up there. Against Calvin Ridley, 5 of 11 for 108 yards. 2 pass defenses. It's a little little eh. Against Tyreek Hill, 4 of 8 for 40 yards and 3 pass breakups. That's fantastic. And then against Robbie Anderson, 3 of 6 for 40 yards and 1 interception. So overall, he's really solid out there. Definitely real solid. He gave up 100 yards to DJ Moore, 5 of 6 for 105 yards, and then Calvin Ridley, the 5 of 11 for 108 yards. But 2 games were 0 yards allowed. Mike Evans locked up for 0 yards. Tim Patrick, 0 of 1 for 0 yards. So overall, Marshawn Lattimore, real solid out there. Definitely the number 1 corner, and we'll see if Prince Amukamara, if he comes in, just real solid, all he has to be, and that's what we saw in 2019. So overall, the Saints defense can be real solid here, can still get even better, and we'll see if they do sign him. All right, let's keep moving on here. Let's talk about the Eagles and Jalen Hurts. And Jalen Hurts really just stepping up and being this kind of true leader out here. They are still describing it as kind of an open quarterback competition here with Philadelphia Eagles between Jalen Hurts, and I'm almost certain it's Joe Flacco out there. Let me double check this with the Eagles depth chart to see who the quarterback number 2 is. But I don't understand why that. Yeah, it's Joe Flacco. It's Joe Flacco and Nick Mullins. I mean, what the hell are we talking about? It's Jalen Hurts going to be the starter. But yeah, I love that he is just kind of taking full reins of this team, being that true leader, commanding the field, commanding the offense. And that's what you have to do when you're a rookie, when you're a young gun in this league. Take control. Find your voice. We've heard Aaron Rodgers finally find his voice. Tom Brady's finally finding his voice for this Bucs team after they won the Super Bowl. So go in and find that voice. Make these people just kind of respect you and command that respect right off the jump, or you're never going to get it. So Jalen Hurts is doing that year kind of 2 here for this Eagles team, and we absolutely love it. So Jalen Hurts says he plans to meet with receivers and tight ends after every single practice. The second-year quarterback says, quote, "We're going to make sure we get at least 1% better every single day." So once again, that constant communication, constantly building that relationship, that repertoire, that rhythm with your pass catchers, receivers, running backs, even tight ends. So Jalen Hurts really stepping up here and being a true leader. You absolutely love it. Going out there and truly winning that starting job, even though it's basically, well, it should have already been kind of basically given to him. But Nick Sirianni wanting to kind of make it known that it is an open quarterback competition here. And Jalen Hurts is going out there and doing everything he can in his kind of just throwing game, in his leadership game, in every single instance, going out there and truly earning that starting job. So there's no way that Joe Flacco can just do something and get the starting job. Hey, I'm a vet. I've been in this league. I've won a Super Bowl. Start me. No. Jalen Hurts is locking that down from the jump. So for that, we absolutely love it, and we'll see what Jalen Hurts can do for this Eagles team and guide these kind of young gun wide receivers in Devontae Smith and Jalen Reagor. We know they're great wide receivers, but they are still a little young. Jalen Hurts is young in himself. Maybe he's kind of, getting actively mature here for this Eagles team and passing down that knowledge to these other young guns out there. But you got to love what you're hearing. You got to love what you're seeing out of Jalen Hurts, and we'll give him a lot of credit going into this year, and we'll see what he does with it. But well done for Jalen Hurts, truly being that leader we'd love to see. Alrighty, let's go over some kind of quick stories here in training camp. We get Mac Jones. They said that Mac Jones comes out with his most consistent practice in training camp yesterday. Real interesting. We just kind of heard yesterday that Bill Belichick said Cam was our starter. He still says it's decently, an open quarterback competition, but they are still leaning towards kind of Cam Newton to be the starter. But now let's see what it's going to kind of be looking like now that Mac Jones is kind of being solid here. Obviously, when you're a rookie, your first couple training camps may not be the best. Getting your kind of, feet under you, getting your kind of rhythm warmed up to what the speed is like in the NFL and just kind of what to do on a day-to-day basis. This is an entire new experience for a lot of these rookies, never having to play in the NFL, coming up from the college system, and it's a whole lot different. The pace of the game, the pace of practices are a lot faster in the NFL. So Mac Jones coming out about, day 3 of training camp and truly getting it done. We'll see if he can kind of rival Cam Newton for that starting job. We don't see it happening, but if Mac Jones keeps putting good days on top of good days on top of good days in practice and training camp, maybe he can kind of upset Cam Newton, who is at best not the greatest. So we'll see. All right. We get Dwayne Haskins news. Now we know, the starting quarterback for the Steelers is 100% going to be Big Ben. There's nobody that can even come close to challenging that. There is zero 100% chance of an open quarterback competition here in Pittsburgh. So Dwayne Haskins, new Steelers quarterback here, and he's still not getting it done. We know we're 100% off of Dwayne Haskins. We were 100% off of him last year, and then we were -% off of him last season as he kept playing, and now we are still 1,000% off of this man. Haskins having a rough series, interception on a bad throw. So Dwayne Haskins not getting that many reps. I mean, I would probably say he's probably the third or even fourth string quarterback. Mason Rudolph probably number 2. J.K. Dobbs is probably the best backup that they have, which is still not saying anything that great. And then Dwayne Haskins probably the fourth on their depth chart, and he's not making the most of the reps, most of the opportunities. So Dwayne Haskins is still being trash out here, folks. How unfortunate. You know who's not being trash out here, though? You know who's not being mother-loving trash out here? And this is just absolutely fantastic. Mother-loving CeeDee Lamb, year 2 wide receiver for the Cowboys out here. Another amazing grab here in training camp. I mean, folks, I think we've seen the most highlights out of training camp out of CeeDee Lamb. This man is just absolutely getting it done. Surefire hands. Yeah, he had a little bit of a bobble here, but he still stayed with it. The eyes on the ball. Look at this one. Saw where the ball was being thrown. His first initial look had to turn his head. Still able to find the ball, got his hands on it, tipped it to himself, and that's a touchdown, baby. Great hands, great catching, great just kind of ball trackability, great being able to just find the ball midair, adjust to the ball being thrown midair, and you still go while burning the corner, tracking the ball, tipping it to yourself, scoring the touchdown. We saw the great one-handed catch as he was kind of flying in the air. So just watch out for CeeDee Lamb, folks. We know this man's already great. We had no doubts on CeeDee Lamb being absolutely fantastic year 2 here. And he's just going to just keep on getting better. I mean, just look at this. Just look at this. Just look at this. This isn't Dak Prescott throwing him the ball, and he's still catching this ball absolutely fantastic and making the most of every single rep that is thrown his way. Give CeeDee Lamb all of his credit. I'm about to start bang because we got lambs on the brain. We got lambs on the mind, folks. This man is absolutely fantastic. God, I love it. And you know who else we absolutely love and who is absolutely going to be absolutely spectacular this season, folks? Who's going to be absolutely spectacular this season, folks? Kyle Mother-loving Pitts. And we get this little note here from training camp. Kyle Pitts is toasting several players. Says, quote, a step ahead of just everybody else. Yes, sir. Kyle Pitts is the best. Well, I don't want to disrespect Calvin Ridley here, but Kyle Pitts is probably the second best pass catcher on this team. I'm not going to disrespect Calvin Ridley because he earns his respect 100%. But Kyle Pitts is going to be absolutely tremendous and fantastic himself. So Kyle Pitts truly getting it done early in training camp. The number 4 overall pick and the highest paid tight end in league history. You absolutely love to see it. Or the highest paid tight end currently in the league by year. So you got to give him credit for that. Kyle Pitts truly making his name known, making Tight End University known. He was a participant in Tight End University, making the tight ends better, making the name of the tight end better so they get paid more, and Kyle Pitts is putting the position on his back. Have you ever seen a single player put the position on his back? Because that's what Kyle Pitts is going to be doing this year for the Falcons, folks. Bet it big. Kyle Pitts having a tremendous, all the vowels, tremendous season, folks. Watch out for it. All right, we get this. We know the Rams lost Cam Akers. Unfortunate for the entire season. So now Darrell Henderson is running back number 1 again. And we get this little note from training camp as well. Darrell Henderson looks explosive in the offense. So we need Darrell Henderson to step up a little bit more, make the workload for the other running backs a little bit easier. And Darrell Henderson just kind of commanding the running back position, commanding the offense a little bit more, commanding the respect that he thinks he deserves. And if he's looking explosive here for the offense for the Rams, that's going to be great because, Darrell Henderson was, not their guy. They were going to go with Cam Akers. So the fact that Darrell Henderson is stepping up his game, trying to return to running back 1 form, trying to make up for the absence of Cam Akers, you love to see it. This Rams team shouldn't be taking too much of a step back without losing Cam Akers, and hopefully, Matthew Stafford and Darrell Henderson can just kind of take the reins of this team and still be as good as Matthew Stafford and Cam Akers. We'll see. So Darrell Henderson looking real explosive, they say. And then the last story to go to, another wide receiver that's just making his presence known, is Darnell Mooney, second-year receiver for this Bears team, who is now, the tier 2. You still got it's not Tyron Montgomery. Who do we got? Allen Robinson. You got Allen Robinson as the number 1 wide receiver for this Bears team, but Darnell Mooney is just getting that number 2 into him here, because we get a quote here by Marquise Goodwin saying, quote, "Man, that dude is electric." Darnell Mooney, man. So Darnell Mooney, he's a little short. He's only 5'10". He's not, a big 6'3", 6'4" type of receiver, but in the slot, just being that speed quickster. He had 600 yards receiving last season, which isn't bad. Especially when, you're not the one. I don't even know if he was the number 2 last season. So just getting and making the most of all of his kind of catches and targets and all that. 631 yards receiving, 4 touchdowns. But that was his rookie year. So expect him to get even better. We get Marquise Goodwin saying that he's electric. I think this is like the second thing that we've read. A good sign that Darnell Mooney is truly progressing along very, very well here for this Bears team. So Allen Robinson, number 1. Darnell Mooney, number 2. Let's see Marquise Goodwin at number 3. And let's see what this Bears offense can be like with, obviously not great wide receivers. These aren't, real deep wide receivers here. This isn't like the Cowboys having Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb. Who else has 2 great wide receivers? The Titans and Julio Jones and A.J. Brown. It's Allen Robinson, who's real solid, and then Darnell Mooney, who's coming into his own here year 2. So let's see what Justin Fields can do with Darnell Mooney. Let's see what Darnell Mooney can just do in general this year 2 in the league, coming out of his rookie year, and we'll see how they do. But some good early reports here out of this Bears training camp of everyone just kind of truly getting it done. So we'll see if they carry that into the regular season. Alrighty, folks, that's all the stories that we needed to go over for today. So let's head over to our NFL team refresher, looking at a team every single day, looking what they did last season, looking what they did in the offseason, who did they pick up, what did they do in the draft, and then just going over their schedule to see how many wins we can kind of attribute to them. We are on our 4th team so far. We've done the Saints. We project them to go 6-11. We've done the Broncos going 10-7, maybe even 11-6, and then we did Washington going 9-7, but we did say their ceiling is 13-4 because of that easy schedule. We are also kind of keeping track of a list of just how we compare teams overall. Is one team better than the other? We have them on top. Is the team worse? We have them below. So far we have Washington above the Broncos and the Broncos above the Saints, and just kind of our early charts. And then we are on the Raiders. We did a part 1 on the Raiders, just kind of focusing on the quarterback, Derek Carr, but now we have to focus on everything else: the defense, the offensive weapons, the head coach, what were they doing last year, what did they do in the draft, and all that. So let's continue on with our part 2 of our Raiders team refresher, trying to get every team done before the start of the NFL season. And we know it's a little bit of crunch time now that we have officially just begun the month of August. So time is a-clicking, time is a-ticking. Let's continue on here with part 2 of the Raiders. So we believe in Derek Carr. That was kind of what part 1 was about. We believe in his stats. We love his stats. They're great. We don't love he underthrows the ball a couple of times. That's something he needs to work on here. And I did just see a clip from training camp where he just absolutely launched it and put it right on the money. So hopefully those underthrowing balls a little behind him. Also needs to throw a lot more touchdowns. A little kind of light in the touchdown column. That was like the only stat that we didn't really love, was the low amount of touchdowns passing. Let's see that get up a little bit. But overall, the offense is something that I don't think we need to truly worry about on this Raiders team. So let's see what the Raiders were doing last season. Where is my tab up on this? We got this up somewhere? Or did I mess it up? We can go back here. Let's go here. How do I get to here? Okay. I don't think I still have it open, so we're going to have to open it right back up, which we've got no problems with. Let's do it like this. let's just see where this offense and defense of the Raiders just kind of was just at overall last season. So let's take a first look at the Raiders offense from last season. They had a number 10 offense, folks. Number 10 right there. 6,000 yards total, which is 6,100 yards, which is 400 yards above the average. They put up 434 points, which is about 40 points above the average. 396 points was the average. So they were above average in the passing game, above average in just points put up. In the rushing game, they put up 1,900 yards, and the average is 1,900. So, the passing game is above average. So what Derek Carr is doing is a little bit above, or no, hang on, I did total yards. Let's go to passing yards. Hang on. 4,200. And the average is 3,800. So, yes, 400 yards above average for the passing game. And once again, Derek Carr is above average in the passing game. So, we don't have to worry about the offense, really. It's a top 10 offense. Don't really have to worry about the points or the passing game. That's really all solid. What is a little kind of just a little curious is that, the rushing game with an elite rusher of Josh Jacobs was just kind of average-ish last season. Real interesting. But they did bring in Kenyon Drake. So, hopefully that gives them a little extra oomph in that rushing game. So, now they can be above average in the passing game and above average in the rushing game, and let's see if that kind of helps them win a couple more games this year. Now let's take a look at the defensive stats here for this Raiders team. Alrighty, this is Raiders team. Their defense was 30th, folks. 30th in the league last season defensively. So now we found the problem. This is the problem of the Raiders. The defense is absolutely abysmal, folks. Truly abysmal. And we can go back into the Raiders last season. They only went 8-8, folks. So this isn't an elite team overall. They have been getting better every year with John Gruden. That is the only kind of silver lining that we have with John Gruden. Every single year, ever since he's been here, they've been a little bit better. Not truly better, not amazingly better, but solid little small steps getting better. This is John Gruden's fourth season, going into his fourth season. Year number 1, they go 4-12. Year 2, they go 7-9. Year 3, last season, they go 8-8. So, like we said, they are getting slowly better every single year, but we need a good year this year. We need to see some type of playoffs. I mean, we're in year 4 of John Gruden's literally 10-year. It's a 10-year. He's got 10 years on his contract. So, let's see them finally get past this hump. This isn't anything between the quarterback and coach relationship. We've been hearing time and time again that, John Gruden and Derek Carr are literally made for each other. They flow with each other. They get each other. They know what they're doing. They know how to communicate with each other, and they just grasp what they're overall trying to communicate back and forth to each other. They just get each other. A lot of people compare it to a marriage, we've heard. So They get each other. That's nothing that we should be concerned with. The only thing that we should really be concerned with is the defense. We know the offense is absolutely stacked, folks. Let's bring up just their depth chart overall. Obviously, they bring in Darren Waller, obviously going into his... Well, he's going into his fifth season, but he's only been kind of used the last 2 years. So let's bring up his depth chart and we can get deeper into it. But he's absolutely fantastic. One of the top... I'd put him in top 5 wide receiver or tight ends at the current moment. George Kittle, Travis Kelce, probably even number 3. He's number 3. He's top 3, folks. Number 3. And I may even put him number 1. I'm very close to putting him number 1. So you got Josh Jacobs and you got Kenyon Drake. Real kind of great rushers out here. Josh Jacobs last season broke 1,000 yards. 1,065 yards, 12 touchdowns. Fantastic. Kenyon Drake almost broke 1,000 last season. 955 with 10 rushing touchdowns. So once again, going to be absolutely fantastic. I've got no problems with this rushing game here for this Raiders team. Receiver-wise, you got Henry Ruggs. Fantastic. A great... tall, he's 6 foot. He's got some great speed. He had 452 yards last season as a rookie, so expect that to go up a little bit more. They got Bryan Edwards as their wide receiver number 2. He's 6'3", fantastic. He was a rookie last year as well, so expect him, a nice tall receiver, to get a little bit more burn. They bring in John Brown. fantastic. A nice speedster here at 5'11". He caught for 458 yards last season, but once again, they weren't really using him in Buffalo, so expect his production to get up a little bit more here with the Raiders. And then they got Hunter Renfrow. They have him listed as their number 4 wide receiver. Once again, nice speedster out here. It's only 5'10", but 656 yards receiving last season. So, and then they got Zay Jones and Willie Snead. So once again, they've got some nice depth here. A nice they got the height, they've got the speed, and then they've got the height and speed in Darren Waller at 6'6", and he's probably the fastest player out there for this Raiders team. So overall, their offense, we don't have to worry about their offense going into the season. It still should be real solid, probably again in the top 10. They have all the pieces to do so. So we truly just have to focus on this defense here for this Raiders team. So let's go over what they were doing last season. Were they giving up a lot of points? Was truly that the reason why the Raiders were trash last season, why they only went 8-8, and once again, just another kind of flounder job in the back end of the season? So let's kind of go over their schedule last season, and then we'll start talking about what they did in this offseason to pick up some players, and then we'll go over their schedule for this season and count their wins and see how many we can give them to. So here we go. Let's walk through the season last season. Week 1 against the Carolina Panthers. They end up winning, but they gave up 30 points. They won 34-30. So once again, that defense, if you're giving up more than like 22 points a game, like 20, if you hold the team under 20 points, you're basically going to win that game. If you let a team score over 30 points, you're pretty much going to lose the game. So if you give up more than like 22 points a game, that's a really not great defense. So they gave up 30 points week 1. They ended up winning it, thank goodness. Week 2 against the Saints, they win 34-24. Now that's a solid game defensively. We can get behind that. But then they face the Patriots. They give up 36 points against that Patriots team. That's absolutely atrocious. Cam Newton's got nothing on that team. Cam Newton can't even throw the ball, folks. I mean, y'all want to talk about Lamar Jackson being a running back? I mean, Cam Newton's a running back, folks. The man cannot throw the ball. It's unfortunate. The man can't throw it. So they give up 36 points to the Patriots. They face the Bills week 4. They lose 23-30. They face the Chiefs. They win 40-32, but luckily they were able just to put up 40 points, still giving up 32 points. That's still cause for concern. And then the week after the bye, week 7, they give up 45 points to the Bucs, folks. They lose 20-45. Absolutely trash. Then they go on a nice 3-game winning streak. They beat the Browns 16-6. They beat the Chargers 31-26, and they beat the Broncos 37-12. So a real nice defensive stretch there, real solid. But then the defense just folds for the rest of the year, folks. It's done after that. Against the Chiefs, they lose 31-35 week 11. Against the Falcons, they gave up 43 points against the Falcons. They get absolutely blown out 43-6, folks. Absolute blowout. They get blown out they beat the Jets 31-28. Still giving up 28 points against the Jets. That's a little cause for concern as well. You should have been if you hold the Browns to 6 points, you should be holding the Jets to 0 points. Absolutely. So still a little concerning. And then for the last 4 weeks of the season, they give up 44 points to the Colts. They give up 30 points to the Chargers. They give up 26 points to the Dolphins, and they give up 31 points to the Broncos. So this defense was just absolutely trashed the entire year, giving up so many points against teams that really should not have been putting up this types of points against y'all. So flounder in the back half of the season. They lose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They lose 5 of their last 7 games, folks. It's just like, what are we doing here? And let's see what they did in 2019 under John Gruden, because they go 7-9. Did they lose in the back end of that season as well? Let's see. Here we go. They lose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They lose 5 of their last 6 games. So they lose 5 of the last 7 last season. They lose 5 of the last 6 in 2019. So once again, John Gruden not being that great coach down the stretch of the year. That needs to get figured out as well. Defense needs to be there week 1 to week 17. And now we have an extra game this year. So that's going to make the Raiders even worse because they stink down the stretch. And we got an extra down the stretch game. How unfortunate. So John Gruden is truly going to have to step it up here big time. But now let's see what they did in the offseason. What did they pick up in the draft? Who did they get in free agency? Are they beefing up their defense? I don't care what they beefed up on offense. The offense is always solid. I'm not worried about the offense. I need to see major improvements on this Raiders defense. So let's take a look here. Alrighty, this Raiders offseason. Hopefully they didn't lose anybody, and hopefully they picked up a lot of great people. Here we go. They get Casey Hayward Jr., a cornerback. Fantastic. Is he good? Can he take down? Let's see where he's kind of, is he there? All right, so he's their kind of corner number 2. They got Trayvon Mullen as their right cornerback, which is basically the number 1 corner on your team. And then Casey Hayward Jr. is the left side cornerback. So once again, just has to be real solid out there. Let's quickly go to our website here, player profile. Let's look up Casey Hayward. Let's see how is he locking up the tier 1s, the tier 2 wide receivers. How is he looking? So Casey Hayward last year against these opponents. Let's see what we get. Against the Cincinnati Bengals, he didn't have a primary coverage target going all over the field, but he gave up 8 of 15 for 76 yards and 2 pass breakups. That's real solid, folks. We're kind of looking for less than 50% of targets caught, and about, when we look at just kind of yards allowed, we don't really want to see more than 10 yards a catch. That's just kind of what we base it on, of just kind of, is it a true lockdown or not? All right, against DJ Moore, 2 of 2 for 23 yards and a pass breakup. Not terrible there. Against Mike Evans, 6 of 9 for 117 yards. That's a big old burn. He got burned there. Against DJ Chark, 1 of 4 for 4 yards. A great lockdown. Against Deshaun Hamilton, 2 of 6 for 83 yards. 1 pass breakup, 1 interception. Overall, you got the pick, but you gave up 83 yards on 2 catches. What are you doing? What are you doing out there? All right, Nelson Aguilar, 2 of 6 for 98 yards. Jeez Louise, once again, getting burned here. Big time. 1 catch is going big time for both these players. This is not good. Against Devontae Parker, 1 of 4 for 23 yards and a pass breakup. Against Russell Gage, 4 of 5 for 68 yards and a pass breakup. Against Nelson Aguilar, 4 of 7 for 46 yards. Against Jerry Jeudy, 2 of 3 for 12 yards, a pass breakup and a pick. That's pretty solid there. That's a good lockup. So overall, getting burned a lot, kind of. He lets the big play go a couple of times. This is where we get a lot of, he gave up 117 yards, 83 yards, 93 yards, 97 yards, 68 yards. So he lets the big play go a couple of times. So this is all right for a kind of tier 2 corner, and that's probably where we have to put Casey Hayward. But if he's just kind of, the second corner on a team, it's not terrible overall. So maybe we can get behind Casey Hayward a little bit. Let's see what else they did in their offseason. They re-sign another guard. They get John Brown. They get a defensive lineman in Jonathan Hankins, re-signing him. They get Kenyon Drake, another good offensive piece, but we want to see linebacker. They re-sign Nicholas Morrow, a linebacker. They get another center. They get Quentin Jefferson, a defensive interior lineman from the Bills, so hopefully he's able to be good. They bring in Russell Douglas, another cornerback, just shoring up their cornerback depth. Where is he ranked now? He's kind of their number 3 corner, so we need to see some solid things out of him. We're not going to look him up because I don't even know what he does. I don't even think he's even guarding like anybody good. Let's quickly take a look. Was he even playing last season in any games? All right, here we go. Against DeAndre Hopkins, 6 of 8 for 30 yards. Woo, that's a good lockup right there. Against Mike Evans, 4 of 6 for 51 yards. That's not bad. All right, maybe this man's got something good. Russell Douglas, folks. Oh, my goodness. He's running the gauntlet here. Mike Evans, DeAndre Hopkins, Allen Robinson, 4 of 8 for 37 yards, 3 pass breakups. Oh, my God. Against Travis Kelce, 7 of 11 for 99 yards. A little bit of a burn there, but it's a tight end. A little bit of a different kind of, how you have to match it up. All right, this is a true test. Mike Evans, number 2, 7 of 12 for 76 yards and a pass break. Once again, not terrible. It's not terrible overall for how elite Mike Evans is. Against Justin Jefferson, 7 of 10 for 61 yards and a pass breakup. Once again, not giving him 10 yards a catch. That's pretty solid. Against Marquez Valdes-Scantling, 4 of 4 for 34 yards. Not terrible. Marquez Callaway, 5 of 8 for 40 yards. So maybe Russell Douglas is actually real solid. Maybe Casey Hayward should be cornerback number 3. Elevate Russell Douglas, and he's 6'2". Okay, now this defense of the Raiders, now we're kind of buying into it. They've got solid cornerback depth. We love it. And then they get Yannick Ngakoue as an edge rusher. Did they have him at the end of last season? Because he started with the Vikings, I believe, and I think they got rid of him mid-season. Let's quickly see. He was with the Vikings and the Ravens. All right, so Yannick Ngakoue, we'll see if he can make an impact. Really didn't have that big of an impact. Started with the Vikings last season, didn't really get it done, and then the Ravens got him, and he really just never really got it done. He did have 8 sacks. I guess it's not terrible overall, but we'll see if he can get back to his kind of full force here. with this Raiders team. So they brought in some solid pieces, short up their corners a little bit more, short up their edge rushers. Not bad. That's pretty solid. Let's see who they lost. They lost Eric Harris, their safety. They lost Nelson Aguilar. They lost Raekwon McMillan, a real solid linebacker. And they also lost an edge rusher and Takaris McKinley. So they are definitely going to need solid production out of Yannick Ngakoue to truly make up for him. Alrighty, let's see what they did in the draft. Let's see who they picked up in the draft here. Let's see, where is it at? Where's our draft tab at? Right here. Okay, so let's look at this Raiders team, Las Vegas Raiders, and let's see who they picked up in the draft. We're looking for solid defensive players. So their first round pick, they go Alex Leatherwood, a little bit of an overreach is what I'm hearing on what this draft was for an offensive tackle. Don't really love that, but shore up your line. I guess you can't really ever go wrong with that. Especially now when you've got another great running back, so you really need some solid run blocking linemen, as well as obviously pass blocking to protect your man Derek Carr. All right, in the second round, they get Trayvon Moehrig as safety, and we are big on Trayvon Moehrig. Let's see where he is on our big board for safeties. He is our number 1, Trayvon Moehrig. Then we have Javon Holland, number 2, Elijah Molden, number 3, and Tyson Campbell, number 4. So they got a real solid safety. Is he going to be their starting safety? Let's take a quick look. He is their starting free safety. Trayvon Moehrig with alongside Jonathan Abram. Real solid there. So if Trayvon Moehrig can kind of step up and be the main man week 1 and get it done defensively, this could be a solid defensive team for the Raiders, which we desperately need it to be 100%. All right, what else did they get? They got Malcolm Kunchi, a linebacker, trying to make up for their loss of their linebacker in the offseason, so we'll see how he goes. And he's from UB. Look at that. Khalil Mack putting the school on the map. You love to see that. A third-round pick. Fantastic. Then they go and sign 2 more safeties in the third and the fourth round. Divine Diablo and Tyree Gillespie, 2 safeties. We'll see. So, Trayvon Moehrig, you need to come out swinging or you're going to lose your job to another kind of rookie. So let's see what Trayvon Moehrig can do. Then they go and get another corner, Nate Hobbs. So, number 4, I'm assuming he's kind of corner number 4 here. No, actually corner number 5. They got him at corner number 5. So we'll see if he can kind of, make a name for himself here. The Raiders already have kind of 3 solid corners that we've seen. So we'll see if he can kind of get some play up here and if he can elevate his game. And then they got another center with their last pick. So they got 1 linebacker, but they also went with 3 safeties. So we'll see how that plays out. So overall, not the best draft. Would have loved to see them get kind of a defensive player in the first round as well. But they show up their linemen. I guess we can't knock that too much. All right, let's see where their offensive line ranks. Another kind of thing that we have to kind of look on to gauge what they're going to be doing this season. If you don't have a good line, we really can't get behind you, because if you don't have a good line, that means you don't have a good passing game and you don't have a good running game. So let's see where this Raiders line ranked up last season, and then we'll take the addition of kind of Alex Leatherwood and kind of, factor that into our overall just line judgment. So let's see where this Raiders line fell at the end of last season. So they had the Browns 1, Packers 2, Rams 3, Patriots 4, Bucks 5, Washington 6, Colts 7, Saints 8, 49ers 9, Bills 10, Chiefs 11, Cardinals 12, Lions 13, Seahawks 14, Titans 15, Ravens 16, Steelers 17, Panthers 18, Eagles 19. Man, oh man, this line is trash. Where are they? 24th ranked. Ugh, not great. Let's see why they ranked them so low. So here we go. Injuries to Richie Incognito and Trent Brown really did a number to an offensive line that has talent. Incognito's spot at left guard was manned by a combination of Denzel Good and John Simpson, neither of whom reached a PFF pass blocking grade of 50 on the season. Right tackle was held down by a combination of Sam Young, Brandon Parker, and Good when Brown wasn't on the field. Those 3 earned PFF grades of 59, 47.5, and 57.8 respectively. Those 2 holes hurt the Raiders significantly in 2020. One bright spot moving forward is Colton Miller, who has taken real strides in pass protection every season in the NFL to this point. His 81.3 pass blocking grade this year is nearly a 30-point upgrade on what he was able to produce his rookie year 2018. Alrighty, so let's see where these players are now. We know they have Richie Incognito back, so hopefully he can stay healthy, and he is still kind of their starting left guard, who was kind of their other big name that they were boasting about here. Colton Miller, is he still on this line? He is on the left tackle, very, very solid. Who did they say was kind of trash now? Trent Brown was also injured. Is he back? Trent Brown is not back, so they do lose Trent Brown. Alrighty, they're going to have somebody step up in place of him, possibly why they brought in Alex Leatherford. Alrighty, who do we got? Combination of Denzel Good and John Simpson, who did not make a PFF grade of 50 or higher, which seems to be kind of a good benchmark that they're kind of going on. So let's see, are they still on this line? Denzel Good and John Simpson, if they are, we need them to see them kind of step it up big time. Denzel Good is in the starting lineup, so he's going to have to step up big time. John Simpson is behind Richie Incognito. So we are going to have to start to see a little bit of a step up from the rookie Alex Leatherwood. Denzel Good as well. Left side of the line seems pretty solid with Richie Incognito and Colton Miller. Although the offense was still pretty productive, as we saw, even though they were just kind of, masking tape the line last season with all the injuries. So we can expect the line to be even a little bit better than what it was last season if everybody can stay healthy. Alrighty, and then the last thing to do here is just read their overall write-up from Bleacher Report on what they did last season, or just what they did in free agency in the offseason this year, to get a one last kind of overall uniform look on this Raiders team, and then we will go into their schedule and count how many wins they can get. So here we go. The Raiders. Key additions. They get, like we said, John Brown, Kenyon Drake, Yannick Ngakoue. They get Quentin Jefferson, Richie Incognito back, Nick Martin, defensive lineman Solomon Thomas, defensive lineman Jonathan Hawkins, and Willie Snead. So really real solid additions there and re-signings. Then their draft of Alex Leatherford and Trayvon Moehrig. And then they lost Trent Brown, offensive tackle, not the greatest. Rodney Hudson, a center, so 2 spots to fill there. Another offensive lineman, Gabe Jackson. They lost Nelson Aguilar, Tyrell Williams, DeMarcus Joyner, their defensive back, and edge rusher Tarkeas McKinley and Eric Harris, their safety. So some defensive pieces that left, but we saw that they shored up all those pieces and kind of shored up all those kind of offensive line pieces they lost through the draft and free agency as well. All right, let's see this kind of 4-paragraph write-up. What are they saying about the Raiders? Here we go. Is the Las Vegas Raiders offensive line better, worse, about the same after swapping out Brown, Hudson, and Jackson for Martin and Leatherwood? It's pretty tough to argue that unit is better off than it was in 2020, and it was a pretty strong area for Las Vegas last season. Not the greatest kind of hearing that. Why mess with it like that? A lack of continuity could be a problem for quarterback Derek Carr and the offense in general, and Leatherwood was widely considered a reach anyway in the number 17 overall slot in the draft. At least they got good value for Moehrig in round 2, and the front office deserves credit for the Ngakoue and Thomas additions because they have primo playmaking ability up front. The Raiders defense has the ability to become very good very soon, but the offense has taken a step backward, and overpaying Drake when you already have a good back good backs in Josh Jacobs and Jalen Richard is ridiculous. I don't know. I like Kenyon Drake a lot. I think he brings a lot to the team. Obviously, Josh Jacobs is their number 1, but Jalen Richard, I'm taking Kenyon Drake over that. Plus, John Gruden and Mike Mayock also reached several more times later in the draft. Third rounders Malcolm Kuntz and Divine Diablo were ranked way lower than their draft slots on their final Bleacher Report scouting department big board. Altogether, it was a discouraging off season in Vegas. Alrighty, so like we said, we do like their defense. We believe their defense can be real solid. They've got great offensive weapons. Like we said, on their defense, Corey Littleton's not bad at the linebacker position. We love Jonathan Abram. We love Trayvon Moehrig in college. We'll see if he can step it up. Trayvon Mullen is a solid corner. Casey Hayward's solid. We love Russell Douglas. Their pass rushers, obviously Yannick Ngakoue, Quentin Jefferson. Did he have any sacks last season? What do we got? 3 sacks, 1 forced fumble. Real solid on the defensive line. So it's going to just kind of be up to the linebackers here. How quickly can these new safeties adapt, bringing in 3 safeties in the draft? And how can this offensive line hold up that they kind of overreached on a lot of players through the draft? So we'll see how that turns out. All right, so now let's go to their schedule this season and see how many wins we can give this Raiders team and where we put them on our list that already has the Saints and the Broncos and Washington. We'll see where we put the Raiders in relation to them. So here we go. Let's bring up their schedule. Here we go. That's not it. This is it. Got to get to the team. The team. All right. Here we go, Raiders schedule. Let's see how many wins we can give them. Here we go, week 1 against the Ravens on Monday Night Football. Alrighty, I'm going to give them a loss here. They are at home, which is very, very good. But once again, this defense, how is it going to be week 1, especially against this kind of highly ran and, Lamar Jackson opening up the deep ball now in training camp? I'm going to give them a loss here against the Ravens. Not the greatest. And then they have to face week 2 against the Steelers on the road. Real tough game for them because the Steelers offense should be solid and the defense should be real solid as well. So I think we have to give this Raiders team 2 losses right out of the gate. Not great. Then they face the Dolphins. Oh my goodness. Last year's game was wild. Dolphins, Raiders, the Ryan Fitzpatrick face mask and the big 30-yard bomb along with it. Fantastic. They are at home for it, which is great, but they lost at home last time. And I don't know, man. This Dolphins defense should be real solid, and this Dolphins offense should be way better than what it was last year. And I don't know if we can kind of get behind this Raiders defense fully 100% just quite yet. So I'm going to give them 3 straight losses right out of the gate. And then they have to go and face the Chargers. Man, oh man, another tough opponent here. This time another Monday Night Football game on the road. This time not great against the Chargers. That should be real gosh dang solid. I got them opening 0-4. Not a good look here. Not a good look at all. Now, the only silver lining here for this Raiders team is that they are better in the first half of the season than the back half. So maybe they can steal a game here. They can steal a game against the Raiders, against the Steelers. They can steal the game against the Dolphins and the Chargers. It's just going to be real tough games for them. Then they go and face the Bears. I can give them a win against the Bears here. At home against the Bears, I've got no problem with that. Then they go on the road and face the Broncos. That is a winnable game as well. I will give them a win there. Mile High is going to be a little bit that kind of atmosphere and the lack of oxygen coming in. That could be the biggest hurt for this Raiders team. But it is a winnable game overall, and we'll give them a win there. Then they face the Eagles. I'll give them a win against the Eagles. No problem there at home. Then they go into the bye. They open up after the bye at the Giants. That is a winnable game for them. I will give them a win there for the Giants. Then they have to go and face the Chiefs. I'll have them split against the Chiefs. Sunday Night Football, they did solid against the Chiefs last season. We're able to beat them once, and they could potentially beat them at home. It will be a close game, so we will give them a win here for their home game, Sunday Night Football. A lot of primetime games for this Raiders team. Hopefully they can take advantage. So we'll give them a win against the Chiefs, and we'll have them split their season series. All right, they can beat the Bengals the very next week. That's no problem. The Cowboys in Dallas. Going to be a tough one for them. We'll give them a loss there. Then they go and face Washington. Winnable game. We'll give them a win. Then they go and face the Chiefs. But we said they would split their season series, so we give them a loss there. They go and face the Browns at the Browns. Unfortunate. This is a Sunday night game in December. So it's going to be a tough one here. It is a winnable game. We'll give them a win there. Do we give them the sweep against the Broncos? If they swept the Broncos last season, we'll give them another sweep this year. Let's go to 2020. 2020. Alrighty, here we go. Alrighty, game 1 against the Broncos, a win. Game 2 against the Broncos, a win. So we'll give them another season sweep of the Broncos this year. Fantastic. Great job. Another win there. And then they have to face the Colts, and now they don't have Carson Wentz. So I'm going to give them a win there because no Carson Wentz. Actually, I want to take that back. I do want to take that back. Do we give them a win against the Colts? Winnable game. We'll do it like this. The Chargers. Did they season sweep the Chargers last season? Game 1 against the Chargers. They win. Game 2 against the Chargers. They lose in overtime. So we won't give them a season sweep against the Chargers, but what we will give them is they will probably win one of their last 2 games, either the Colts or the Chargers. So we'll give them one more win for a 10-7 season for this Raiders team. If we were looking for kind of an 11th win, we would probably say the Steelers or the Chargers. They probably split their season series, so we'll give them one win there. Yeah, we didn't have them winning their first game against the Chargers, so we'll have them winning their second one. So a potential 11th win would be kind of, the Colts if they win their last 2 games, the Dolphins if we're looking for an 11th win. We'll give them 11. Split their season series against the Chargers. Do we give them 10? We'll stay with 10. The 11th potential as well. Pretty tough schedule here for this Raiders team overall. And 10 wins maybe gives them a wild card spot at 10-7. We'll see how great the extra game plays for these teams, and what the kind of new low standard for the last wild card spot is. Usually 10-6 gets you in the AFC. We'll see if 10-7 is the same, or if you have to be 11-6 now. But a real tough schedule here for this Raiders team. I mean, the Ravens, the Steelers, the Dolphins, facing the Chargers twice. This Chargers team is real solid now. Bears, Eagles, solid, easy games there. Giants, winnable game. Facing the Chiefs twice is always difficult. Facing the Cowboys, this Browns team is going to be a little bit of a tough one. So they have some real tough kind of out of conference, out of division opponents here. And we've got this Raiders team going 10-7 officially. So let's write this down in our notes. Las Vegas Raiders going 10-7. So now, how do we feel about this team just overall in general? I do like this team better than the Saints overall. I just don't see the Saints being good this year, unfortunately, especially that missing Michael Thomas the first half of the season. So we'll have the Raiders above the Saints. Do we like them above the Broncos? Interesting. I think the Raiders have the better quarterback overall than Teddy Bridgewater or Drew Lock, and I want to say the Raiders have just a better offense overall. The defense, I think I give it to the Broncos overall, but I'm going to have the Raiders above the Broncos, just below Washington. I believe the Washington's defense is better. Obviously, Raiders' offense is a lot better than that Washington team offense, but coaching, all that, I think I had the Raiders just slightly under the Washington football team. Alrighty, so that's going to do it for us today. And, with the Raiders finishing 10-7, that's going to end our recap on our little team refresh on the Raiders. Tomorrow, we'll do a new team, spin the wheel, random team, and see what we get, and continue on with our team refreshers. Alrighty, so that's going to do it for us today. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We are back live tomorrow, noon Eastern, doing it all over again. Let's see if there was anything breaking as we were live. Anything. All right, this is interesting. Falcons lined up tight end Kyle Pitts all over the field today. Atlanta will really be able to utilize his talents in matchup situations. That's fantastic. I mean, he's 6'6", folks, and he's fast as heck. So how are you going to stop that? Basically what Darren Waller was last season, 1,000 yards receiving. Expect that from Kyle Pitts this year, rookie year. He's that great, folks. He's that great. Alrighty. Seems like Texans are still trying to trade Deshaun Watson. Price is still high. First, what we've heard was 3 first-round picks. That's what we're hearing so far. Alrighty, that seems like it's going to do it for us today, folks. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Nothing breaking. Thanks for listening. And we will be back tomorrow, folks. We're back here every single day, noon Eastern. All right, we're out of here, folks. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. We are officially out of here. We'll see you.